So I asked my 3-year-old daughter why she was being so naughty, and she looks at me like I'm totally mad, and she says, I don't know, just because. And that's when it occurred to me that as we grow up, we develop a really peculiar part of our brain called the interpreter. And what that does is it's constantly telling us stories to make sense of the world around us and the actions we have. And this interpreter really creates a very cohesive story of who we are. We are all constantly telling stories. And we start sharing these stories with each other, this becomes knowledge. Artists are storytellers, doctors are storytellers, scientists are paleontologists, hacktivists are, all of us are. So when we share this knowledge with the world, there are 2 ways we can do this. There's the old way of doing it, which is the institutionalized knowledge deployed by the institution, an authority, an expert. Or we have a newer form of knowledge, which is knowledge deployed by the crowd. I have an issue with both these forms of knowledge, because knowledge deployed by the individual is full of personal stake. It's full of bias, whether it's education for industrial revolution or education for innovation or good citizenship. It's full of bias. I don't like it. And the crowdsourced knowledge like Wikipedia, imagine one truth emerges from a crowd of hundreds of thousands of people, and that one truth survives all these edits and becomes extremely sterile. So I think it's time we have a third form of knowledge, one in which everyone's biases coexist, all perspectives coexist to give a richer understanding of who we are. If I ask you, who are you? I don't want you to tell me I weigh so much, I'm this tall, and this is what's in my bank. I want to know, what kind of a lover are you? What kind of a son, daughter, husband, friend, employee, employer? That gives me a richer understanding of who you are. So I come from a very unique country. And for us, truth is perspectives. I come from a country called India. And in India, it is the world's most impossible democracy. There is absolutely nothing, I think Bollywood comes closest to it, but nothing that brings us together as a people. Not religion, not language, not culture, nothing. And in fact, Winston Churchill once said, India is as much of a nation as the equator is a nation. It's really funny. So when I wanted to create artwork on Indian history, I wanted to bring this plurality. I wanted to borrow from different cultures, from different different spaces to create a new historical document. In this, I say, within every thinking Indian lies a Gandhian, a Marxist, and a Cartoon Network character fighting for supremacy. So this is what I do in my artwork and in my paintings. But I really wanted to push this a step forward. I wanted to really push the idea of perspectives. Unfortunately, I couldn't do that just in art, so I decided to learn some coding. And I created a children's book when my first baby was born. Let me show you a quick video about this children's book for the iPad.
But, I have a problem with children's books. I think they're full of propaganda. At least an Indian trying to get one of these American books in Park Slope, forget it. It's not the way I was brought up. So I said, I'm going to counter this with my own propaganda. If you notice carefully, it's a homosexual couple bringing up a child. You don't like it? Shake it. And you have a lesbian couple. Shake it, and you have a heterosexual couple. I don't even believe in the concept of an ideal family. I have another idea. It's a children's book about Indian independence, very patriotic. But when you shake it, you get Pakistan's perspective. Shake it again, and you get the British perspective.
Thank you. So this is really exciting. So I had actually unleashed a bit of a movement at TED. So we started shaking up everything. And what's really fun is I've not read many books in my life, but I won a really prestigious book award. And there's not a single word in my book. It was really exciting. I got international press, and we started shaking up everything. But I was a little sad, because why I set out to do this was to create a book on Indian independence from different perspectives. And I failed miserably, because no historian was willing to lend his credibility or name to a perspective. And that's because Even in Pakistan, for example, there were historians fighting amongst each other as to whose perspective is right. And not only that, they keep changing their minds too. So I thought it was impossible to create this. That's when I realized that truth is not just perspectives, but it's dynamic perspectives. People change their minds. So how is my art going to absorb this dynamism? So I want to share with you my latest art project. It's Brainwave art. I had to go outside the art and tech world to the science world to learn from about brains. So this EEG headset, I'm going to show you, this EEG headset measures my brain waves, and it sends my computer, which is there, my mental state, how attentive, meditative, focused I am. And then that basically changes my art based on my thoughts, my brain waves. Let me show you a quick live demo. Meet Mona Lisa 2.0. I'm going to project this is live right now. I'm projecting my mental state onto her. I'm going to try and do something really stupid. I'm going to try and calm down and make her smile for you guys here on the TED stage. Let's give it a shot. Close enough. Thank you. Thank you. You know what is really special about this is for the first time, I could see my emotions live, and I realized that I keep changing. There's no such thing as I'm happy. I'm happy now, I'm sad now, I'm scared now. I keep changing. I want to quickly show you some of the other art projects. Can we go back to my slides? I'm burying myself here in front of everyone. Thank you so much. So I want to quickly show you some of the other projects I'm working on in collaboration with this hacktivist, a really cool hacker called Sean Stevens from New View. This is a work we made for people who both love Gandhi and hate Gandhi. Use your brainwaves to keep him smiling, and everyone's getting along really well. You stress him out, and he'll be the cause for communal violence among the cartoons, at least. You decide how you leave your Gandhi. Now, here's a work I made especially for my American friends. It's really simple. It's red. But you use your brainwaves to discover that there's an entire spectrum between red and blue. It's called Learning Flexibility, America. Yes. See? Now, meet Venus 2.0. She's really fashionable because she just got off a visit from the Indian Censorship Bureau. You don't like censorship? Use your brainwaves, focus on her, think naughty thoughts, and you can start uncensoring her. And when you completely uncensor her, you can even set her free. Now, speaking of censorship, the one thing you cannot censor are your brainwaves, because half of them come from your subconscious. So be really careful next time you see my work, because you will bring it to life using your uncensored thoughts. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that I could have never done this alone in the art world. I had to reach outside and color outside the line. You know, the role of my viewer has now changed from someone who's just buying my work or looking at it to someone who's actually changing it and participating. When I say participating, I don't just mean changing it physically, but actually politically, changing the intent. So all I'm saying is science and art are not in competition. I think we both are trying to do the same thing. And we have to go outside the silos of our worlds to really collaborate with each other. I think art and science are two eyes of the same body. Imagine you open just one eye, you see the most beautiful world. Open the other, and it's like this depth you can't even imagine, you can't even articulate. So now I just found out, actually very recently, I'm having my another baby. And thank you. Thank you so much. And so now I'm thinking about what kind of bubble do I want to bring up my baby in? And I'll tell you something. I cannot promise my child a life without bias. I'm bloody biased, but I promise to bias him or her with as many perspectives as possible. Thank you so much.